Hello, everybody, and welcome. So today is going to be the second installment in my favorite series. So today I'm going to talk to you about four of my all-time favorite foundations and why I love them, and hopefully, again, share some tips and tricks with how I like to apply them. So let's just get started. So my first foundation that I'm going to talk about is definitely been my favorite for a really long time. I've been wearing it since it first came out, and I would have to say it is definitely my favorite foundation of all time, and that is the Makeup Forever HD foundation. And this is my shade, which is 160. But I absolutely loved the old formulation of it, and I love the new formulation of it even more. So it's got something called 4K technology in it, and what that does is 4K is basically the highest resolution of camera that you can possibly film in. So just for the record, I will never film in 4K because I don't want anybody to see me that close. But it is unforgiving. It shows every flaw on the skin. It shows texture a little bit more than original HD cameras did. So this just creates the most beautiful skin-like texture. I mean, it gives you a light to medium buildable coverage and just looks like a second skin. It's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know what else to say other than it's really, really pretty because it is, but it's beautiful. It really doesn't look like you're wearing makeup at all. It just looks like your skin is just evened out and perfected and smooth, and it's just gorgeous. It also has hyaluronic acid in it, so it's really going to be hydrating and plumping to the skin as well. So it's still oil free, so it's good for all skin types. Although I will say that oilier skin types sometimes don't like the finish of this foundation, but I would still say give it a whirl just because you can put a powder on top of it just to mattify it a little bit more, but then you still get that beautiful second skin kind of coverage that this foundation really gives. It does get a little bit of negative rap, just reading some of the comments on Sephora's website kind of make me angry sometimes because I don't know why, and it was this way with the old formulation too. It's for some reason people think that this is a full coverage foundation, and it's really not. It's a light to medium coverage foundation, which in my opinion is really all somebody needs. Conceal the areas where you need more coverage, but very few people actually need full coverage all over their face. And the more foundation you put on, the more texture you build. And skin should look like skin. It really should. It should look perfected, but it should be natural. You should be able to see the person underneath the makeup, not the other way around. So anyways, just a tip for applying it is I do find that a lot of people like to buff their foundation in with either like a fluffier brush or a stippling brush, and this is definitely not a buffing foundation. When you buff it, you really lose the coverage in it. It's not really meant to be applied that way. Use more of like a paddle style brush. Like the Makeup Forever one is really good. I don't have that one, so I can't show it to you. But this is the Sephora number 47 brush. This works really well with the foundation. Or you can use, this is what I use to apply it, is the Bare Minerals Finishing Touch brush. I think that's what this is called. Oh, sorry, Smoothing Face brush. And this works really well to apply it as well. And I just really lightly kind of stipple this into the skin and just kind of buff it out in the areas where I don't need as much coverage. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. Or you can use a beauty blender with it as well. But you just really want to make sure you press it into the skin and don't buff too much because you'll just buff away the coverage. You still get the finish of it, but you lose some of the coverage of it. So yeah, so that's definitely all-time favorite. Love that foundation. So my next one that I'm going to talk about is another one that's been recently reformulated, which is really weird. I was really nervous when they reformulated this foundation because this has actually been a favorite for a long time too. I don't tend to use this one on myself as much, but I really, really, really like this as a bridal foundation. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and that is the Laura Mercier Silk Cream Foundation. I don't even know if you guys can see that, but I'm telling you what it is, so it doesn't really matter. And this is an absolutely gorgeous foundation. It's got a beautiful coverage to it. This is definitely a fuller coverage foundation, but it can be sheared out where you need it to, and it just has a really gorgeous finish to it. It doesn't have a ton of texture. It's not real cakey like a lot of full coverage foundations tend to be. So you can just really blend it down to a very natural skin-like texture. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And what I love is that it actually comes in two types. It's the same coverage, but it comes in an oil-free and it comes in a moisturizing So if you're dry, the moisturizing foundation is going to be a little bit more hydrating. And then if you're on the oilier side, obviously the oil-free one is going to be a little bit better for your skin type. So I just think that's absolutely amazing. Again, gorgeous finish, really, really beautiful coverage. My cats are like going nuts right now. I don't know if you can hear that. They're chasing each other around the house. But absolutely gorgeous. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Really good stuff. It's a little expensive, but a little bit goes a long way. So a tube of this, you really only need like half a pea for the whole face. Oh, that's a tip though that I'll say is you can't use too much of this foundation. You'll be surprised at how pigmented it is if you've never tried it before. So less is more. So start out with less and then add more, because I find that people don't, you know, sometimes it's when you're first experimenting with a new product, it doesn't always go the way you planned on the first run. I used way too much of this the first time. Oops, and I dropped it. The first time I used it, I used way too much, and then I was like, whoa, okay, we got to take some of this away. So my next foundation that I'm going to talk about is another one that's been written up in a lot of magazines. It's been getting a lot of press, and it's been, I think, on a lot of favorites lists, both in magazines, YouTube. It's just kind of been all over the place, and for good reason. It's a really good foundation, and that is the Nars Luminous All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. Oh my God, that's quite a name. I just call it Luminous Finish or whatever, or the Nars Foundation. But this is an absolutely gorgeous foundation as well. And this is another one of those where a little bit goes a really long way. Really long way. When they say one pump, they are not joking. It is a one pump foundation. It just gives a textureless, beautiful, medium to full coverage, luminous finish on the skin. It's gorgeous. It just looks so, so, so pretty on skin. Again, this is another favorite for you brides out there, or just special events. It's just got a really nice finish. It works really well in photography situations. It photographs beautifully. And again, it just really doesn't have much texture to the skin. So your skin looks perfected, but it still looks like skin. It still looks like you can see yourself in there somewhere. And it's just, for those of you who like a fuller coverage, this is definitely a good one because it does have that fuller coverage. Again, it is a dewier finish. It is oil-free, so it's fine for oily skin types, but if you don't like that dewier finish, this maybe wouldn't be my first recommendation because you kind of lose the magic of the foundation. If you powder it down, you lose that beautiful glow that it gives the skin, but it's not overly dewy, so I feel like it's fine for an oilier skin type as long as, you know, if you want to partially mattify your face like through the T-zone and just like kind of leave the rest of the skin really dewy, it's really, really pretty. But just absolutely gorgeous. It is a little bit more on the expensive side again. I think it's $48 for the size of it, but again, it's really worth it though, because since you only need one pump, a little bit goes a really super long way. Now, as far as application, Nars recommends that you apply this foundation with the fingertips. I actually have never really gotten down with that. I don't like applying this with the fingertips. I usually just pump a little bit on the back of my hand, and I take more of like a buffing brush like this. I just will dot it on the face and then just blend it out that way. But that's just a personal preference. I know people that have used it with their fingers and they love it that way. So I would just experiment with what your favorite application method is. The only thing that I don't like with this foundation is a beauty blender. I know it's my personal go-to. I love applying foundation with sponges. With this one, you just waste product. It's not worth it. I mean, you can get a really beautiful finish out of it, but even if it's a really damp beauty blender, it just tends to, it's such a serumy foundation. It's so liquidy that it really just absorbs way too much product and you'll just waste it. So I definitely wouldn't recommend a beauty blender with this one. So my final, I gotta take a breath. So my final foundation, and this is typically actually the one that I wear every day, and this was kind of a shock to me with this one. It was getting so many good reviews that I had to give it a whirl, and I really didn't think I'd like it because I typically don't like a lot of products from this brand, and that's the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. I love this stuff. It's absolutely beautiful on the skin. It's more of a tinted moisturizer, so it's a really super sheer coverage, but it's just enough. It's like perfect in between of like just evening out your skin tone, just a little bit of coverage, putting a little bit of glow and healthiness into the skin without, you know, doing a full-on foundation. Just this and a little concealer is magic. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And it does have a lot of skincare benefits to it as well. So it will help even out and brighten the skin over time too, which is super duper nice. It's got a really nice kind of like gel almost texture to it. So it's not like a liquidy foundation, but just absolutely beautiful on. I love it. It's perfect for everyday wear. It's perfect for anybody that, you know, you just want just a little bit of coverage just to even you out, but you don't want to look like you're wearing a ton of makeup. You just want to look like your skin's a little bit healthier. So yeah, yeah, this stuff has just really surprised me. It's really good, especially if you're looking again for that sheer to light coverage. It's just absolutely beautiful. So I think that's it. I mean, there's definitely, I could talk about foundation all day long. I love complexion, but I think I'm going to stop there. So I hope you enjoyed. Again, I'll have links down below for where you can get all these goodies. And thanks for watching, and please subscribe.